Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, deja vu at Bart Kaufman Field. Indiana baseball drops another midweek at home.
And Little 500 is upon us. We'll tell you who qualified for this in Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Ryan Costello.
And I'm Dylan Rome. So how are you feeling about the weather today?
It'd be really nice if all the tornado watches went away so then we could enjoy things like baseball. And talking about baseball, a little after a late collapse in the series finale against Southern California, Indiana baseball returned to Bart Kaufman Field for a midweek clash with Louisville. Our Josh Pose has the recap.
Indiana baseball is back in action on Tuesday evening, hosting the 18th ranked Louisville Cardinals in hopes to avenge a Saturday loss to USC in a game which the Hoosiers blew a 12-3 lead in the later innings.
They've got the capabilities of doing a better job than that. And if you get beat, you get beat. But we were a very active participant in beating ourselves in that part, especially.
After going hitless in the first 3 frames, the Indiana bats were on fire in the 4th inning. Hoosiers sending 10 to the plate, scoring 4 runs to erase a 1-0 deficit and turning it into a 4-1 lead. The crooked number in the 4th inning was eerily similar to the 6-run 4th on Saturday against USC, but it was a good sight for Jeff Mercer's team.
It's hard to hit. It's hard to hit. I know that, and we all know that. It's hard to hit, especially when you're seeing a bunch of different guys, and guys are good and they're executing. It's hard.
In similar fashion to Saturday, Indiana's bats went ice cold in the final 5 innings. The Hoosiers tallied just 1 hit and lost the lead late en route to another excruciating loss. Indiana now has only mustered up 2 hits in the second half of its last 2 games, frustrating its head coach, Jeff Mercer.
And it didn't go our way, sorry, on Saturday. But like I said, there's no invisible hand. There's no such thing as momentum. It's not a real thing. You just show back up and play. Nobody feels sorry for you. It happens across the country.
This loss has Indiana searching for an answer, but they'll have their opportunity this weekend as they host Michigan State for a 3-game series at the Bart. From Bart Kaufman Field, I'm Josh Pose, IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers return back to Bart Kaufman Field for a 3-game weekend series against Michigan State, weather permitting.
As we kick off April, this countdown to the Little 500 is on. This past weekend, the men's and women's tennis team hit Bill Armstrong Stadium for the 2025 qualifying races. On the women's side, the 2024 champions, Kappa Alpha Theta, set a strong early time of 22.7 seconds, securing 3rd place overall. Novus edged ahead to claim 2nd, but it was the rookie team Delta Gamma who took 1st place with an impressive 2 minutes and 43.166 seconds. On the men's side, last year's winners, Black Key Bulls, proved they're still a force to be reckoned with by clinching the top spot to beat Sigma Alpha Epsilon for the first time. Their winning time, 2 minutes and 23.658 seconds. The remaining teams will move on to individual time trials and miss in-outs in the following week.
Indiana softball traveled to Columbus this past weekend for a series against number 21 Ohio State. After dropping both games in Saturday's doubleheader, the Hoosiers responded in a big way, closing out the series strong with a statement win on Monday night. Brianna Copeland led the charge with a historic performance, tying 2 program records with 3 home runs in a single game, bringing her career total to 40. She also set a new personal best with 13 strikeouts in the circle. Indiana dominated from start to finish, securing a 13-7 win. The Hoosiers improved to 23-10 and 3-5 in Big Ten play. They will return home to Annie Moore Field this weekend for a home series against Maryland.
It's been a busy offseason for both men's and women's basketball teams at IU. The men's basketball team currently has no one on their roster except for Luke Goody, who received his NCAA medical waiver and will play another season for the Hoosiers. Coach DeVries recently added former Cincinnati assistant Drew Adams to his staff, but it's still in the process of rebuilding his new roster and staff. As for the women's team, leading scorer Yarden Garzon entered the transfer portal, and well as Lily Meister, Lexis Bargieser, and Jules Lemondola. Both teams have their work cut out for them as they continue to rebuild and group.
Indiana men's swim and dive finished out their season in historic fashion on Saturday. The Hoosiers placed 3rd at the 2025 NCAA Swimming and Diving Championship, which is the program's best finish since 2019. During the week, Indiana set 10 program records, 6 Big Ten records, and captured the American record in the 200-yard medley relay. Indiana also competed a historic sweep in all 3 diving events, which is just the second time in history a team has swept all 3 events. Senior Carson Tyler became the first diver to win 3 consecutive NCAA platform titles and completed his college career as a 5-time champion. While the Hoosiers came up short in winning the national championship, they had nothing short of a successful season.
Coming up after the break, we crown our Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And men's tennis gets its first Big Ten win of the season. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Now joining us in the studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is our very own Julian Zielinski. Julian?
Thanks, guys. As we dive into the last part of the spring semester, IU men's swim and dive battled for glory at the NCAA Swimming and Diving Championships in Federal Way, Washington. But it was the senior and Olympian Carson Tyler that chased history by adding to his already impressive resume and helping the Hoosiers secure 3rd place. During the championship rounds, it was Tyler who delivered the clutch performances throughout the event, with him nailing his final dive for 90 points, which is one of 2 90-point efforts that led to a total score of 480 points. This would secure the NCAA platform diving title for Tyler on the final day of the competition. For Tyler, it caps off an historic career at IU, with this being his 3rd straight platform diving title, while also earlier in the week winning his 2nd 30-meter title of his illustrious career for the Cream and Crimson. Back to you guys.
The Indiana track and field team competed the battle in Bayou and Baton Rouge this past weekend, finishing with multiple personal bests and high finishes. Hannah Alexander had a personal best at the discus throw and moved into the top 15 in school history, throwing 51.19 meters. Janiyah Hodges and Ryan Parrish are now both ranked top 10 in the Big Ten for the 400-meter hurdles thanks to their performances during the meet. On the men's side, Dane Sherbert cracked into the top 20 in school history for the discus throw, placing 6th overall and throwing 52.37 meters. Martin Sagrula made some noise in the distance events, placing 1st in the 1,500 meter. The Hoosiers will be back in action on Friday, April 11th, when they travel to Tuscaloosa to compete in the Crimson Tide Invitational.
Indiana men's tennis got back into the win column on Friday afternoon, defeating Wisconsin 4-2 at the Nielsen Tennis Stadium. Jip Van Essen de Velt would put Indiana in a position to win the match with a win at the #1 singles, where soon after, Karin Ragavenger clinched the match victory with a win at the #5 singles. Indiana men's tennis closed the weekend with a loss to Nebraska on Sunday afternoon at the Sid Hazel Dillon Tennis Center. The Cornhuskers would secure wins at the #2 and 3 doubles to secure the lead going into singles play. Indiana will be back in action on Saturday when it travels to West Lafayette to take on rival Purdue at 3 p.m.
The women's tennis team fell to 1-6 against Big Ten competition after heading west for a doubleheader this past weekend. The Hoosiers started the weekend in Eugene, Oregon, losing to the Oregon Ducks 3-4. Laura Schneider and Nicole Tedescu came away with only Indiana double wins, while both also taking wins in their singles matches. The team also fell short in a 0-4 loss against the Washington Huskies on Sundays. The weekend leaves the Hoosiers in 16th in the Big Ten standings. The Hoosiers look to bounce back in conference play at home when they face Michigan and Michigan State in another doubleheader weekend. Now joining us with the Candy Stripe calendar report this week is Drew.
Thanks, guys. It's another busy weekend for Indiana athletics, so let's dive into it. Kicking things off on Friday, men's baseball will look to get back into the winning column this weekend as they play the Michigan State Spartans in a 3-game series at Bart Kaufman Field. Softball will look to continue their dominance at home this weekend as they face off against Big Ten foe Maryland. Men's golf will be home for the first time this season as they host the Hoosier Collegiate at the Fowl Course. Now moving on from land to water, women's rowing is heading east to Columbus to participate in the Ohio State Double Duel, where they will face off against Ohio State, Columbia, and SMU. Women's water polo matches up against San Jose State on Saturday at Councilman Billingsley Aquatic Center. Rounding things off for the weekend, both men and women's tennis will be back in action. The men will head north to take on rival Purdue in West Lafayette on Saturday. Meanwhile, Gabrielle Moore in the women's tennis will face off against Michigan and Michigan State here in Bloomington. That's all for the Candy Stripe calendar. Back to you guys at the desk.
And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports. From our production crew behind us, I'm Dylan Rome.
And I'm Ryan Costello. We'll see you next week.